Video 5, Rearview Mirror. Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I last did a video. I was meaning to do these videos a little bit more often, and I announced I was going to do this video almost 2 months ago, but honestly so much has been going on with life and work that I've not had the time to do it. But you know what, I've got some time now, so I'm thinking let's make the most of it and let's get these out. This video, Rearview Mirror, is going to have 2 parts. The first part is more about me just simply looking back at what's been going on in my life since the last video dropped and since I started doing these videos. The second part's more going to be focusing on things that if I could look back on my whole life, where I would have done things differently or how I view things in my life. So, what's been happening in the last couple of months? It was about 2 to 3 months ago since I did the first video, and since then a lot has gone on. I mean, since that video where I first started opening up about what's been going on in my life with my health, my exercise, and my mental health, I've had a lot more people come up and ask me about it and talk to me about it, giving feedback as well as asking for advice. Every time I released a new video, I'd actually would get more and more people talking to me about it, basically asking for more advice on what they could be doing to help them, which is great. Honestly, that's amazing. Just to have people willing to have that conversation is why I wanted to do these sort of videos. Not only did I want to feel more comfortable with talking about myself, but I wanted people to be able to talk to me about things as well. Not just talk to me, but just so they could start talking about things that they didn't think they could talk about. After the first video, a lot of people were pretty surprised about what has been going on, and a lot of them didn't know what I was going through. A lot of people didn't realize there was such reason and determination behind why I was doing the things I was doing to make these changes. And to hear that feedback and support was pretty awesome. And honestly, I got a lot more views in that video than I ever thought I would have. I still can't really get over how that many people wanted to watch me waffle on for 20 minutes. By the way, I'm going to try and make this video a lot shorter because I know how hard it is to watch all of these things. The second video was more about my exercise. That one was pretty cool. That one I filmed out and about. Most of it was filmed when I was going for a walk, which was what I used to do all the time. I really liked making that video because it actually let me show people exactly why it was so enjoyable for me to do these walks. The sights, the sounds, the weather, it was awesome. After that video, I've actually had a few mates asking me questions like, how did I keep finding myself getting up at those times, and how long did it take you to start realizing the physical changes for me to realize that this is something that I wanted to do and it was worth doing? Those conversations were awesome because I've got some mates who have told me for ages how much they've struggled trying to stick to an exercise regimen, how often they've tried to do different things to make their exercise doable, to make a routine. I know I've struggled like that 3 times. I've made an active attempt to do this and completely bailed on it. So to hear other people have those struggles, then for them to hear my story and to now see that since then they've been sticking to it as much as anything. They're probably working out harder than I am at the moment. I remember when I first did the video, I was talking about how I never joined a gym. It wasn't that I was doing, and that wasn't part of the weight loss. Right after that video dropped, I actually did join a gym because I felt like the weight loss has gone as far as it can and should go. I definitely had lost enough weight and had more people tell me that I've lost too much. But I then realized I want to keep healthy, I want to keep active, I want to keep fit, and I want to actually use this to now improve myself, not start doing myself more damage. To mix it up a bit, it also means I'm not going to get bored of it anytime soon. It also means that I can feel like I'm making a new level of progress. There's a new challenge. The next video was, of course, about the vegan diet, which always has a little bit of fun and controversy because people love to bag on the vegans. They like to make fun of people for a diet choice that literally doesn't affect them. So I made sure that when I did this video, it was to be done in a way that was very open, no judgment, no opinion, no me trying to force things on people, just how I did it, how I approached it, and the challenges I faced and how I overcame them and how I've managed to stick with it. What actually has changed big time for me personally with it is since that video came out, Woolworths and Coles have completely redone their meat sections to have a plant-based meat section. So when you go there, you can see next to the barbecue meats, you can see a whole range of the plant-based products, which means you can still get your patties, your sausages. They've even got like chicken fillet alternatives. They've got schnitzel alternatives. What's really good about where they've put it is, with it being near the meat section, people can actually find it. I know the hardest challenge to a lot of people when they first go vegan is finding that food. Now, of course, we get to the last video, the all fucked up, my mental health video. This one was by far I'm going to be blunt, probably the hardest, but also the easiest video. It was pretty hard to actually bring myself initially to open up about these sort of things. And I know there are certain parts you might look at it when I'm talking about it, I get very reserved. And it was very, very hard to make myself be able to talk about these to you guys. But I also say it's one of the easiest videos because once I started talking about it, it became so good to talk about. The more I was talking in that video, the more I wanted to say, the deeper I wanted to go. I stopped having that fear of feeling bad or shit about my own past. And I started feeling like people need to hear this. Not because of me and what I've gone through, but if I'm feeling like this after what I've gone through, there's a good chance a lot of the people watching have as well. And I'm going to tell you straight up, of those videos, that one by far is my proudest achievement. Because right after I put out that video, almost every single person, this is not an exaggeration by the way, almost every single person that I know personally that has seen that video has spoken to me about it. There are friends that I haven't had much to deal with in years. I'm saying people I used to hang out with in the school days. Those people have reached out to me, basically saying, hey, I didn't know you were going through this. I can't believe you went through this without me knowing. Are you okay? I'm glad to hear that you're happy. And then they started telling me about what they're going through. And then they're trying to ask, what did I do to go on a mental health plan? What did my GP say? What should they expect? Should they go on one themselves? Then there were questions like, what did your psychologist tell you? Was it hard to get an appointment? How long were the appointments? These are questions that, because they didn't know the answers to, they didn't even begin to look. Where now they've started looking at it and they've started asking the questions to people they should be asking. I then had people who were close friends of mine who I've just fallen out with, not in a negative sense, but just hadn't really been involved with our lives anymore. They've reached out to me. Some of them straight up apologized, saying, I didn't realize that I was one of those people that made you feel that way. And I was taken aback because I didn't make this video to make them feel bad. I didn't make this video to get an apology. When I made this video, I didn't even know if they were going to watch the video. But that led to me catching up with someone that I hadn't really seen in almost a year, despite growing up with them, having a chat about everything that's been going with our lives. And we just opened up about how much that shit could hit us without anyone else around them knowing. I realized that they were going through stuff at the same time that I didn't see. And it was a long, good chat. When you look at my channel, you'll see that nothing got as close as that first video, which is fair enough. It was the first thing people were like, what's this guy interested in? Then they'll probably see me waffle on for about 20 minutes, and then so the next video was 15 more, then the next one was 15 more, and they probably started tuning out. With that last video, it didn't get as much as the first, and that doesn't bother me, because what really resonated with me was everyone that saw that has messaged me, spoken to me, reached out to me, just to really point out how much they appreciated that I was talking about that. The amount of people that have told me that they didn't realize that I was going through that, and that they were going through something similar, and they didn't know where to start to get help. And since I've spoke to them since, they're on a mental health plan, they're talking to a psych, they're already feeling better, they're already making changes. Yeah, that just made the whole thing worth it. Now, the other thing I guess I want to look back on is just what's been going on in my life the last couple months. The last, obviously, 4 videos now, I guess you could say 5, all about me and my development, about me overcoming my struggles. Well, now I'm going to actually go to a more happier topic and just talk about what I've been doing since. Since videos, I've joined a gym and I love it. Me and Kat have made some major waves with our wedding. We've got everything booked and planned, dates locked in. We've got the rings that was done earlier this week. So that's awesome. That's all in full swing. So cannot wait for that. That's happening in February next year. On a, I guess, less personal thing, I've got a whole heap of concerts looking forward to next year as well. So we've got Amity Affliction, My Chemical Romance at Download. Then I've got Iron Maiden coming up all next year. That's all basically been announced and paid for and done all in the last couple of weeks as well. We're approaching Christmas, which, I mean, I'm not honest. I've never been a religious person, and I'm not the most loud, crazy, festive, 'tis the season sort of person. Cannot wait to watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve. That is an absolute must. So getting all these things planned and put in front of me is awesome, because they're all, I mean, some things are much bigger than others, but they're all happening progressively one after another, which means I've got almost the next 6 months and plus of my life mapped out in front of me, and I'm excited for almost every single one of them. So it's so good where I went so long of my life thinking I wasn't allowed to be happy about what I've done and I've got nothing good coming in front of me, to me having a massive list of small things, be it emotional and personal or vain and material, all coming my way. And it's like, you know what, that's awesome, I can't wait. Like, I went from a guy that would always just be down on himself and what he's got to someone that's freaking stoked about what he's got and cannot wait for what's going to come next. I did say this video is going to be in 2 parts. That was basically my part 1. That was what my last 2 months have been. And now I did promise it's going to be a shorter video. And the biggest thing I'm going to say, if I could look back on what I would have done differently, what is the biggest thing about my life I'd change? I'd fucking talk. I'd do something about it. Almost every single one of those problems I had, I know would have been made better if I just did something about it. If I spoke to someone about it, if I found a way to deal with it. I'm glad that I was able to go through that and I'm able to make these videos so I can talk about these things, especially now that I've seen how much they've helped other people. But I also know that I didn't have to go through these things, and you don't have to go through these things either if you just do something about it. And please acknowledge these problems, accept these problems, and then do something about these problems. Talk to someone, acknowledge it. Don't deny it, be open, be free, be yourself, and please see someone and just let yourself love yourself. I know it was a bit of a weird way to end it. I've completely winged this whole thing with no real plan. I'm probably going to edit a lot of that part out, and if I don't, deal with it.